Hello and welcome to another episode of Be the Love to Awaken Our Souls. Thank you again so much for tuning in this week. I'm Stacy Musial.
And I am Brenda Carey, and we are your co-hosts and souls on the journey. We invite you to be a part of our Be the Love tribe in support of your spiritual growth and transformation to come home to your divine self. Let's raise our vibration to love. And before we get into this exciting conversation on sound healing, we're going to do a short meditation experiencing our own sound. So let's start by settling in. You don't need to close your eyes down if you don't want to, but if you can, either softly gaze. And we are just going to begin by breathing deep with an audible exhale out. It could be a sigh out. It could be just like you're fogging up a window, but hear your own sound. We are going to be experiencing our vibrational self. We are an energetic being, and our energy extends beyond our skin to every person. And one of the ways that we can affect change in our bodies and our minds is through this power of sound and the vibration that it can carry. So if you feel like this would be healing for you, maybe make an audible sound, whether it's a humming sound or a chanting sound. You could even maybe sing a little tune if that calls to you. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. I'll give you just a moment to create your own vibrational healing sound. And as you acknowledge the energy that you have raised through your own loving, cleansing, beautiful sound, sending gratitude for all the sounds that you get to hear, whether it's children laughing, birds singing, even the humming noise of your refrigerator, sending gratitude to your ability to not just hear sounds outside of you, but to also listen within. And that is where healing truly begins, is listening to this inner wisdom. And so it is.
And so it is.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to, extend our conversation. We just interviewed the amazing Eileen McKusick. And if you have the opportunity, definitely check out that episode. It's the one right before this, episode 202. And we had just a really enlightening conversation around tuning the human biofield, which is this vibrational energy that extends around us. Sometimes it's referred to as our aura, the torus field, energetic body that is around us, whatever you choose to call it. I think it's really interesting what Eileen brought to the forefront of conversation is really using certain frequencies, because we are electric beings. Some of the things that she said, like our blood carries an electrical charge. Our fascia is a semiconductor. Our bones, when we move, especially like bouncing movements, also has an electrical charge. So we are obviously vibrational beings, and what makes sense is that we heal vibration, our vibrational being, with vibration. And for her specifically, that was with different frequencies of tuning forks, which I've had the pleasure to use tuning forks in my Reiki practice. I use them on myself and on other clients. When I teach yoga, sometimes I'll use them afterwards in Shavasana. It's such a beautiful way to really reset and, as Eileen mentioned, help relax any subconscious tension that we are carrying, because oftentimes subconscious tension can lead to disease, whether physically or mentally or emotionally. So I'm excited about talking a little bit more about sound healing. How about you, Stacy?
Mm. Yes, I love this topic. Sound healing and the electric body because and how they really are um how this tuning forks really help to clear the body and because we are electric and so like you said, the blood carries an electric charge and each organ carries an electric charge and our thoughts can create the distortions in the energy field to create dis-ease, right? The thoughts and the emotions, right? And it creates a disruption in the energy field to disrupt the flow of energy of the electricity that's moving through. And so these tuning forks really help to clear some of that energy. And I just love how she talked about just moving, the energy in the field as it's, and being able to feel into the current because it is when we really tune into those currents, we can really, really notice where there is stuck energy in the body and we can even do this, intuitively and feeling this energy, right? And so when we have something like stuck energy in, say we have pain in our knee, there might be a disruption of energy there. And when we focus on that energy, we can tune in and discover what the message is. And I know, through Eileen's work and in reading her most recent book, Electric Body, Electric Health. And she talks a lot about, the different chakras and the different energy centers, including like the knees. And this is just an example, but how the knees might represent, stuck energy of moving forward in life, right? And so we can ask ourselves, does that resonate, right, within our energy field? If you have a knee pain, where am I stuck? Where am I stuck and where am I not allowing myself to move forward? And when you start to move that energy, you might start to notice maybe more forward movement. And so that is just like an example of something that we can really do to help empower ourselves to shift our energy, shift our pain points or our pain, right? In our body and empower ourselves to really heal and create more forward movement in life in different areas.
I love that. Yes, the knees have been very telling of how we move forward in life. And I think kind of circling back to what you mentioned about how we can sometimes intuitively feel this vibrational field that extends beyond our physical body. I mean, I love the tool of using a tuning fork. I absolutely think it's very powerful. And if you haven't experienced it, I would definitely encourage you to give it a try. And I will also say, for me being highly empathic, even without a tuning fork, I think many of us who are sensitive to energy, especially emotional energy, like we can kind of tune into the vibe, so to speak, of another person, even when we're in close proximity or not even in proximity. Sometimes it's more of just a collective consciousness feeling that we get when something is either out of alignment or we feel the sharpness. I love how Eileen said the tuning fork can have a more sharp tone if there's an area of the body that has sharp pain. And I think we can also feel into that energetically for some of us, and empaths who are sensitive to emotions can be like, oh, their vibe just feels kind of sharp or cut off or whatever it is. And I think as we learn to trust that intuitive nature for ourselves, I think we can do that naturally. Granted, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's something we can, as we say, tune into. It's interesting how we say that word a lot, like we can tune into our own healing or somebody else's energy. And I'm like, oh, it has a little bit more meaning for me. As we talked about how tuning forks can be a really powerful tool when we come into this energetic field and dive into our electric health within our body and also our minds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That is really interesting, the tuning in, right? Because it is a frequency. It's like we're tuning into a radio signal that is signaling out to the universe, to our field of energy around us, right? And that can go pretty far, not just right, not just around our body, but we are sending out that signal to the universe, right? And so when we start to really connect with the energy behind that, like, even, you know, something like depression or anxiety, right? And so if we carry that frequency, that is also a frequency that we are sending out to the universe, to the world, right? To the universal, the energies. And so, but we can do something about that, by moving through that energy, right? And I think it is an important point to recognize that we're all going to have feelings because we're human, right? And so we have to be able to really feel them to heal them. But then, we can help move through the energy and determine, is this something from our ancestral lineage that has been passed down, or is this something that is ours that we have to work through that might be from childhood and so when we start to really allow ourselves to recognize where that is in our field, or what is the energy behind that and where is it coming from, we can support ourselves by tuning into that frequency and transmuting it.
Yeah.
So we can really connect with, what it is we want to create. So we're not carrying that frequency for ourselves. And we're also, healing it for our ancestors as well.
I was just the word just popped in, transmuting, almost like shortly up, and then you said it afterwards. But yes, transmuting that energy. I loved how she described when she was speaking of the Peruvian shaman about how the ancestral rivers are, I think it was like 2 to 3 feet outside of the body. And they were like this, like rivers of energy. One represents the masculine side, one represents the feminine side, and how she could sense that with the tuning forks. And I definitely think as we become more sensitive and more aware, and we are raising our own consciousness, and I guess I need to say raising and expanding our consciousness. I love how she brought that up of, it's not always so much about raising our vibration, but clarifying it. And she referenced it to more of an expansion as opposed to this hierarchical raising. And I like that idea. I could definitely incorporate that in my language for sure. But I also love how the shaman kind of confirmed these ancestral rivers that she felt with the tuning fork that represented masculine and feminine energies that might have been from past life. Like you said, this might be something that we need to work through and heal from a generational standpoint. It's just really, I think, opens the doors as to what is possible for just different levels of healing in the body and in the mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I love that they were, the shaman was able to confirm that, because it just shows that, like, how much truth there is, right? When it can be confirmed by, someone else, and, it's not just this woo woo, but it's, something that is, affirmed by, someone who can also feel into energy. And I think that's really powerful. And, there's, and going, to something else that she said that really, really resonated, that it is just the sound that, the power of sound, the power of our own voices that can, when we tune in, and, the different sounds and different frequencies that we have power over in our own lives, when we can start to really tune into those oohs and ahs and, and the voices, it really, it brought me to like remind me of like, mantras and, the seed sounds that, are there, the ohms, um, and the different sounds through each vibrational center. But then she went on to talk about also like, I don't remember how many she said, but just for recognizing that when we start to use our own voice and really hum and sing, that is creating electricity in the body. Dancing is creating electricity in the body. And when you're listening to maybe high vibrational sounds, whether it's your own sound or maybe, a higher frequency, like binaural beats, and things like that, and what that's doing to the vibration of your cells and your DNA, it's just continuing to electrify them to expand. I love that word, expand our consciousness or expand our vibration so that we are emanating outward, and there is no hierarchy because it's available to all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do think singing is medicine. And once we get out of this headspace of saying, well, does it sound good? Or am I in tune? Or do I sound like this, professional singer person? Once we can like lay those old stories aside and really embrace our own unique tone, I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about, I am very auditory. And I'll tell people I will recognize the tone of somebody's voice over their facial image any day. And especially if they have a unique tone. And unfortunately, many people, who have unique tones to their voice, they think they sound bad or they sound funny. And I'm like, no, that's like your unique voice in this world. And we get to speak our truth. That was one of the things that also resonated with our conversation. With kindness, though, that's the key. Because, yeah, oftentimes we say, oh, speak our truth makes it sound like we're going to mouth off and be rude to somebody. But I would say, no, it's that kind voice that hopefully intentionally we are speaking to ourselves with love, and then we speak that out to others. And for empaths especially, that's how we create loving boundaries with other people, is really be able to speak our truth with kindness, but that also gives us permission to be our authentic selves. And what greater gift for our own singing or speaking voice. I mean, I think that is one of the most powerful healing tools that we have.
Mm-hmm. And really, as Eileen said, and which I really resonate, and I was just having a conversation this morning with someone else about that same topic about, when we speak our truth, right? I think in our Western culture, we get this negative connotation of like, we're being mean, right? But it's not about that. It is about being in alignment. Because when you speak your truth and you are in alignment, and that is, your body will feel that, and that will continue to increase your vibration, expand your heart energy, because now your heart and your mind are in coherence, and your energy body is in coherence. And so I would just like to invite us in this moment, if we could just take a moment and just connect to our heart energy, and just breathing in to your heart space and breathing out and allowing your heart to feel into what that electricity feels. And it might be just very subtle, but just imagine just the light energy moving in, that energetic expression of who you are, and breathing into your heart. And as you inhale, moving that up into your mind, and breathing out down back into your heart and connecting your heart and your mind. And just feel the coherence as you begin to do so. And then if it feels right for you, I'd like to invite you to breathe in to the sound of Om. And so we're just going to take one inhalation together and exhale. And as you focus on your heart space, we're going to breathe in and imagine that energy going up into your mind, your brain, to the sound. We're going to exhale to the sound of Om. So imagine you're breathing in through your heart, all the way up to your mind, and breathing out to the Om. Om. And just noticing that vibration and where you feel that in your body. And just allowing yourself to just sit with that vibrational feeling. For you are an electric being. And thank you. And at any time throughout your day, throughout just moving forward, just connecting with the sound of Om or whatever sound feels resonant for you in that moment, connecting with the coherence of your mind and heart together.
Mm. And thank you for listening to Be the Love podcast. Find a spiritual home with us and let's connect on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We always appreciate 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify. I'm Brenda Carey, and as a holistic healer, I offer coaching and online programs to guide highly sensitive people in their sacred path to vibrant health. My website is sacredpathyogaandreiki.com.
And I'm Stacy Musial. I'm a psychotherapist specializing in whole person, deep soul healing. You can find out more about my work, my book, and programs at awakenyouремpoweredsoul.com. You can check out our links in the show notes. And stay tuned for more episodes being released on Mondays at 5:55 a.m. Mountain Time.